Oh, the snow is falling, the fire's alight, families gather for a cozy night. But over at your place the mood is bleak, 'cause you're still worshipping that orange freak. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. You're on the naughty list, it's true. With your lies and your hate and your QAnon crew. Merry Christmas to everyone but you.
You're crying about Starbucks cups again, while billionaires rob us blind with a grin. You shout fake news at facts you don't like, and scream lock 'em all up on TikTok all night.
Merry Christmas to everyone but you. You're stuck in a Fox News echo zoo. Your MAGA merch smells like hypocrisy stew. Merry Christmas to everyone but you.
Oh, you can't spell truth. You walk into the booth with a flag and a hat and no grasp of the facts. Santa tried to help, but he gave up too, 'cause he'd rather give coal to someone who's cool.
Jingle bells, Trumpy smells, your logic ran away. Your brain is fried, you grifted pride, makes Christmas suck all day. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. The Grinch has more heart than your whole crew. We'll toast to a future where justice comes through. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. So deck the halls with kindness and cheer, and keep your MAGA nonsense out of here, 'cause peace and love are long overdue.
And Merry Christmas is wasted on you. Holy fuck. Damn. Started sneezing. Random sneezing fit. Oh my god. Because I got something cool. Something cool. It's so very cool. Grateful Dead there. So I've got a
Uncle Sam bear. So that's 3 in a row. That's just perfect for me. Oh. An orange, like about to torch some shit bear. Five. The blue frosty bear. 6. I'm not exactly 100%. He won. He won something. Not exactly sure what's going on there either. Eight. Gold statue bear, I guess. Nine. Oh. Oops. Band leader bear. Or a marching band bear. Ah. Amazing. Rainbow bear. Pride bear. What is that? Nine. We've got a DJ bear. Ooh, that's what I should have done with this one. Still has trouble getting. Putty Bear. Party Clown Bear. 13. We're almost caught up. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's cool. Whatever that is cool. Artistic Bear. Painter Bear. I'll stop with the auto framing. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen Bear. 16. I'm getting like an EDM band together. Get into focus. Oh shit. Accidentally went one ahead. Oh well, I'll have to skip one. Nighttime Bear. Okay.
Today we are asking a chef and a normal home cook to review and then rank some festive TikTok food trends.
Here
goes.
we go. Emily's cooking.
So a knob of butter, a smush of cheese, some spice,
It's a smushed sprout.
butter, what looks like could even be furikake, cheese, sprout. It's a cheese crisp with a sprout in the middle of it. I like the idea of any way to get Brussels sprouts into more occasions at Christmas, and it's a place that isn't just seated at the Christmas dinner table with a big bowl of them. Great.
I believe in anything that will make a sprout taste not like a sprout.
And that is exactly what I want to test, Mike. Can this make sprouts great again? Do you want to give some crispy Parmesan sprouts a go?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So this could be a brand new way to make your Brussels sprouts this Christmas. Hopefully get more people eating them by adding flavours that they do like to something that they might not like. Do you reckon this could be a way to win over sprout haters?
Anything with butter, cheese and decent seasonings is going to be better if you don't already love sprouts, which I do.
I'm so glad you get to sit next to him for the next video.
It was the chair.
So what we've given you are some sprouts that have already been boiled. You've got butter, parmesan, a few different seasonings. You're going to basically combine them all together and then smash your sprouts down.
Some nice softened butter.
Fennel.
This creator, Emily, used a mixture of oregano, garlic, pepper, salt, cumin, paprika and all-purpose seasoning, chili flakes and sesame seeds, but she's very quick to point out, use whatever you like. I think a little bit bacon might add a nice festive twist to it.
Festive. It's all year round for you, mate.
Could be wrong, but I don't feel like
Bacon
you're
is
making
festive?
this to add to the Christmas spread.
No.
It's a bit of a faff.
I actually see this as a good way for Boxing Day when you've got leftover sprouts.
Because they need to be cooked.
I have leftover sprouts.
Then a sprout.
Plop on a sprout and then we're giving you a glass just to crush it down. Might be a bit slippy.
Emily makes it look easier.
She does.
She's got bigger guns than you, Evers.
They're quite wet.
What is your favourite way of eating sprouts?
Loads of butter, loads of garlic. I might parboil them and then finish them off in the pan to get some colour because then I feel like you get rid of the sort of boiled cabbagey flavour. Bacon lard on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
string.
you mentioned smoked bacon, I think works, pancetta, I think chestnuts is a wonderful, or walnuts,
yeah.
maybe some dried fruit, a handful of dried cranberries or sultanas through it,
I
give that
love
little bit of
sprouts,
sort of
but I'm
sweet
also
to
down with all
play
that.
off the brassica element. Right, let's get those into an oven.
185 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes or into an air fryer, which is said to be one of the reasons that this kind of recipe has become so popular is because of the rise in air fryers and the ease of making crispy fried foods.
I'm interested to see how they taste because on paper I think this is very good, accessible and legitimate, which isn't always the nature of these trends we review.
Well, let's see.
Okay,
30 minutes later,
Look at that.
just like that.
Crispy, golden, and there's a sprout in the middle of that somewhere.
Wow.
Piled up, less of a looker, but very appetising, and I feel like people would just want to jump in and grab one.
and we've done a non-festive version of this before as well, because we did the onions.
Yeah.
And we've done onion slices, people do them with potatoes, get them really crispy, add loads of flavours to them. I feel like this is a very versatile style of dish. Making it festive with sprouts
Yeah,
feels
I
like
mean-
it should be a good idea, but the big question is, how does it taste?
I'm going in.
Should we brave it?
The trend, the actual trend here is let's load some shit up with butter and cheese and then put it in the air fryer. That's the trend.
Yeah.
Give it a blow.
They did
Oh, yeah.
onions, now they're doing Brussels
You
sprouts.
saw how buttery,
Who knows what else
or
they've
how
done
much
that I
butter we put
missed.
under each sprout.
Asparagus, I bet.
That's almost soaked up into the sprout. The sprout has become almost a sponge for that butter.
I was going to say the texture's completely changed. Obviously, it was boiled,
Yeah.
crushed, and then roasted. But it's a really, you don't get any of the sort of like slight al dente bite. It's smushed, and like you said, the butter's soaked all the way up to it, and it's just a little butter sponge. And then there's all the cheese
The
flavours.
herb, the saltiness of the
Fe-
crispy
it needs
cheese.
the fennel, doesn't it?
And every time you get a little
Actually.
bite of fennel seed, you get that anise flavour coming through.
And I suppose you're in complete control as well in terms of how much you crush
Yeah.
the sprouts down. You could completely flatten them.
And there is nothing not to like here.
Well, the big question, crispy Parmesan sprouts, trend we're going to follow fast or just scroll past?
I'm following fast.
Follow fast.
Off to a cracker of a start.
Parmesan.
Let's have another one.
Should have known.
Mike, you have TikTok
Okay.
trend number 2.
We already know this is going to be good because it's Ollie. El Burrito Monster. What
Excellente.
is he doing?
Still got some Christmas gravy to use. And the cheese balls. I'll grate some taleggio.
And some Burt's Blue Red Leicester, mozzarella and some slices of
Gravy, loads of grated cheese.
in a fondue pot with gravy. And once all in, I'll add the ends of a cheap bottle of red wine. Cover and bake and heat up roasties, Yorkies and pigs in blanket. Add some sticks, grab a bit and have a dip. Then a pig and of course a Yorkie. Bash! And then there's my sister trying a porky.
He loves stitching his sister up. Fondue with Christmas dinner trimmings and gravy.
Yeah. Cross with like a French dip. French dip meets fondue with Christmas.
I loved the marbling of the cheese throughout the gravy
And a good cheese pool.
When it was lifted. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's really good cook.
This is El Burrito Monster's festive fondue, and it could be the ultimate way to use up Christmas leftovers. Because every household has leftover cheese from cheese boards, roasties, Yorkies, and some idiots even have leftover pigs in blankets. Ollie's combined all of these into something very special. Would we like to slow our heart rates down a little
Yes.
bit?
Yes.
So boys, we've given you everything you need to make your festive fondue. We have 5 different types of cheese. You've got raclette, mozzarella, taleggio, Stilton, and red Leicester. You've got a gravy, you've got some red wine. All of that gonna go in together, lay it up. We'll whack that into the oven to get it all hot and bubbly. Pull it out, and we can then put it on top of our flame, and you can start to dip in pigs in blankets, Yorkies, and roast potatoes.
Excellent. You ladle in some gravy, Mike.
Ebbers, as a chef, having watched this, what are your hopes and fears in all the years?
I'm kind of on board with it because it merges two great things, which is fondue, which when you melt cheese does need some acidity. Traditionally, Alpine would come from a white wine. This is a red wine, which also makes sense because red wine gravy is like a French dip sandwich. So I kind of get both of those things combined, and therefore I'm quite happy with it.
More food is wasted at Christmas than any other time of the year because people buy too much, they eat too much, and then don't eat everything that they've bought. So what a great way to use up leftovers.
Is there a chance that this could be too much?
100%.
Oh, but it's Christmas.
But it's Christmas.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Do you want to glog in the wine? Because his just kind of just went all on top, which I also thought probably needed stirring through, but he didn't.
I'm waiting for you to... Good. Thank goodness you did.
I've not put too much blue cheese in, Mike, because I know you're not a fan.
Thank you very much.
But Taleggio is the king of cheeses.
Cheese fondue, obviously incredibly traditional. Switzerland.
And raclette, so very traditional.
Yeah.
on the top.
Tin foil into an oven, and then we'll finish it on that, just as he did. The smells in this room.
I am worried that this might be too much for me. I mean, it looks... Oh, that's...
Silky smooth with cheese, glossy from the gravy. Goodness me, it's going to be hot.
Good Lord.
Merry Christmas, Ollie.
I don't know, man.
I'm going to put it out there.
No.
That's not leftovers. That should be proudly designed, not hashed together with what's left over. I mean, it has been designed with what's left over, but I think just lead with that.
It's not too much, and it's enough to taste amazing. It reminds me of poutine, where the cheese curds melt into the gravy and, yes, potato fries in Canada.
Is it just for dipping, or could it be a pourer? Like Christmas dinner leftover nachos is where I'm thinking.
You filthy swine.
Yeah. Well, there's only one question left to be asked. The festive fondue, is it a trend we're going to follow fast, or just scroll past?
I mean, I'm doing nothing fast after eating that, but I am going to follow it.
What I love about it is that we have tasted it on your behalf, and yet through the screen you know exactly what this tastes like.
Yes.
That's what he does so well. Familiarity, but to an nth degree, and for that reason, it's another follow fast.
Boys, we're only halfway through. Let's crack on with number 3.
Let's see what Amy Shepherd's got.
This is my married.
That looks
Oh, this is like Swedish meatballs,
And like pigs in blankets.
but instead with pigs in blankets. Making her own DIY with decent sausages, so not the silly little chipolata ones. Half a good sausage, ripped.
Fine ripened tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes,
Sun-dried, yeah.
chopped.
On the Marry Me sausages that I shared last year, which was
Leeks
one of my most
cream.
popular recipes. So if you didn't want to include the bacon, just
Oh,
use
wow.
sausages. I have
This is
written
my
a recipe
type
for
of
this
flavour
below,
profile.
and I would love to
Amy
know
gets
if you
it.
tried it
Yeah,
for Christmas.
that does the job.
Marry Me Chicken.
Ah, yes.
Is a viral trend from back in 2022. It went everywhere, so good that if you made it for someone, they're going to marry you. That was how it came to be. What if we took that trend and made it festive by saying, marry me pigs in blankets?
It ticks a lot of boxes, and even the moment it started, we all just went,
Yeah.
ooh.
You know that's going to taste good.
So this video from Amy Shepherd Food has been viewed 2 million times and has spurred on a whole range of copycats as well.
So we've got our onions sweated off, to which we're going to add garlic and the sun-dried tomatoes. Now, was sun-dried tomato part of the Marry Me chicken?
Yes.
Because that's the bit that was news to me,
That
but I think
plus
it's
that and
delicious.
that.
Yeah. So good. I've not heard of it.
As a recipe, it's very close to Tuscan chicken.
Yeah.
But I think it's just been switched up a little bit, and when it went viral 3 years ago, went everywhere, to the point where now you can get Marry Me chicken sandwiches or wraps, like in Tesco. Onions are frying off for about 5 minutes. You're gonna add in your garlic for the final minute, and then going in with double cream and stock before adding sun-dried tomatoes, oregano, and parmesan. Once your parmesan's melted, in with your spinach.
An absolute shameless plug.
Here we go.
But Sidekick also uses this kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Like every year we come back to let's create some amazing recipe packs with the same ingredients, really, Christmas ingredients. Pigs in blankets, sprouts, roast potatoes, cranberries, chestnuts. Simple ways to use them that are inspiring. All 3 of these have been that. I'm pigging inside of the blanket.
None of that makes any sense.
Can I say what I did like about this video was excellent sausages. Buy a good butcher's sausage and just use half of it to make a pig in blanket.
Yeah.
Wow, that is the one, isn't it? Sun-dried tomatoes and anything cream-based. Always going to taste great.
It does, and yeah, I always associate it with less dairy fat. Sun-dried tomato, Mediterranean cuisine, as opposed to sort of the dairy fat of northern Italy or France, but delicious.
So one of the reasons that this is believed to be so popular is because it hits all of the areas. It's creamy, it's salty, it's tangy, it's umami, and it's sweet.
And honestly, if you get served this, you're going to be down on one knee.
Okay.
Wow.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Marry Me pigs in blankets.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that sauce.
Yeah, there's actually so much to be learnt from that sauce because it's simple and you can basically put it with most things.
I think it's arguably better than just if it was chicken breast or thigh or whatever.
Served in a mashed potato bowl, that is really great.
Yeah. Especially after Christmas, pigs in blankets will be heavily reduced at the local supermarket. Pick up a tray or 2 and stick them in the freezer and do this any time in January for just a lovely hit.
My goodness, I could eat that forever. Need to stop.
And what is marriage if not forever? Will you marry me pigs in blankets?
Yeah.
You know the question, marry me pigs in blankets. Is this a trend we're following fast, or are we just going to scroll past?
It's easy, it's creative, it draws upon flavours that everyone loves. It's absolutely a follow fast.
Agreed.
Let's move on to number 4, and I think this one might be controversial.
Uh-oh. You've been doing so well. No pressure, Jay, but they've been good so far.
Mike, you have a message.
Dish, the podcast with Angela.
Sandwich filling. Christmas pudding.
Oh! I saw this very episode.
You're mad, isn't it?
Christmas pudding sandwich.
Then I think you put a little bit of the Christmas pudding. Then I think it's cheese on top of that.
Okay.
Hang on, so it's bread, Christmas pudding, cheese and bacon.
Oh.
You're debating.
It's not no. I think that'd be nice after a bender.
This is the Christmas pudding cheese on toast. Now, Christmas pudding and cheese, that's a thing, right?
Yeah. It works so well with cheese, with savoury.
It will work well with bacon because it's salty sweet, and there's the winter spicing throughout the Christmas pudding.
It's sweet, sticky, spiced pudding.
It's mad, but I can't wait to try it because I can't even imagine really what it truly tastes like.
Well, let's give it a go.
So we're going sourdough, butter, spread with a spoon.
Always the back of a spoon.
Into a pan.
Lovely way to serve Christmas pudding. Just slice it when it's cold and you get nice slices out of it.
I like Christmas pudding. Quite, it's got some brandy in it.
Essentially, sourdough, butter, Christmas pudding, cheese, melted, and then topped off with a little bit of bacon. So the reason that people say that this works is because the Christmas pudding is intensely sweet, rich and spiced. The cheese helps to balance that with the saltiness, the umami-ness and the acidity. So Richard E. Grant loves Christmas pudding so much that he says that he buys Christmas puddings in the January sales so that he always has a supply of the puddings throughout the year to make his favourite sandwich.
I have
Good idea, actually.
And I have to be honest, there is so much you can pick up after the occasion. And I would say the same big occasions in the UK, Mother's
calendar.
Day, advent calendars, Valentine's Day. You can pick up delicious boxes of chocolate, bunches of flowers.
Christmas decorations is
Christmas
the one
decorations,
to go for.
Christmas crackers for next year. Interestingly, for me, as a chef, what I love with any cheese board, cheese toasty, is a dollop of chutney or pickle. And this hasn't got the acidity of a pickle, but it's got all the same ingredients. Dried fruit, all the spices, a handful of sugar that you would normally put in, with maybe some tomato, some apple to bulk it out. What I would do to serve it as a really delicious appetizer, maybe, because I think it would throw people at Christmas.
Yeah.
A delicious sourdough cheese toasty with Christmas pudding, some crispy bacon, and a red cabbage slaw that is vinegared and acidic, because I think it does need something else to balance it. That might come from a nice glass of port, which would be lovely. And pigs in blankets, fondue, Christmas pudding.
That way.
No, is that? Well, that's you write those out, and then I'll whack them with a board. They were all great, which makes this very difficult.
You followed fast on.
Good. I've not heard of it.
No. As a recipe, it's very close to Tuscan chicken.
Yeah.
But I think it's just been switched up a little.
Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, they were found dead in their home yesterday afternoon, and it appears like they were murdered. Their son Nick's been arrested and booked for murder, and the reactions, including an absolutely psychotic one from the person in charge of this country, they're flying everywhere. But with there right now being so many unanswered questions, let's start with the specific details of what we do know. So yesterday afternoon, the LA Fire Department responded to a medical aid request at the house of the Reiners owned in Brentwood. There, the bodies were found with knife wounds, and the LAPD confirmed that detectives from the Robbery Homicide Division were investigating the deaths as an apparent homicide. And also, if you're not familiar with Rob Reiner, you're probably at least familiar with his work in film and television over the last 40 years. Right? He directed This Is Spinal Tap, When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, just to name a few of them. He also, I'll say, acted, right? He won 2 Emmys for his role in the sitcom All in the Family. He made an appearance in Sleepless in Seattle, and even had a recurring role in season 4 of The Bear. And then, I mean, it's just the entertainment stuff. He was also a liberal political activist who campaigned on behalf of marriage equality, spearheaded campaigns against smoking, and even considered running for governor against Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 2006. Right then, as far as he and his wife Michelle, they met while he was working on When Harry Met Sally and got married in 1989 and went on to have 3 kids of their own, 2 sons, Nick and Jake, and 1 daughter, Romy. And it's also with Rob having come into the relationship with an adopted daughter from a previous marriage. You know, regarding this family, Rob and his son Nick even made a movie together which premiered in 2015 about the issues that their family endured. And specifically, the movie centered around a character inspired by Nick and his struggle with addiction.
I had no idea how difficult it was for him, but I knew what I was going through, and I thought maybe there's something in that, in a story, but then I kind of put it aside because I thought this is too raw and it's too difficult. But I guess when we had a little distance on it, then we could kind of start looking at it.
We now flash forward from that clip back in 2016 to it being reported that sources have confirmed that Nick killed Rob and Michelle. Right, and from there, you have TMZ saying that an argument led to Nick attacking his parents, and it was one of his sisters that found the bodies. TMZ then further reporting that Nick was in custody of the LA County Sheriff's Department. And then, just this afternoon, you had the LAPD putting out a statement saying that Nick Reiner is being held without bail, and their investigation has found that he is responsible for his parents' death. You know, while the public is waiting for more information, many people have been chiming in from around the internet to talk about Rob and Michelle and mourning their loss. Many in the film industry highlighting his beloved work as well as his position as a staple of the entertainment space. Sean Astin, president of SAG-AFTRA, saying that Rob Reiner is one of the most significant figures in the history of film and television, saying the impact he made on American culture simply can't be overstated. You then also had politicians like Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass focusing on his advocacy. Right, initially, if you looked around, there was a lot of love and sadness for both people on the left and the right towards what happened with Reiner. And with that, you even saw many prominent Republicans saying, hey, people on the left, look at what's happening. Or saying liberals are desperately searching for a prominent conservative mocking Rob Reiner and his wife passing, and saying they've seen nothing but love. Which I guess possibly Donald Trump saw those takes and was like, I'm gonna be a big asshole and make all of this about me and just be a disgusting piece of shit. Or because he decided this morning to post about Reiner and his wife, saying, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Because he was like, and saying liberals are desperately searching for a prominent conservative mocking Rob Reiner and his wife passing and saying they've seen nothing but love. Which I guess possibly Donald Trump saw those takes and was like, I'm gonna be a big asshole and make all of this about me and just be a disgusting piece of shit. Or because he decided this morning to post about Reiner and his wife, saying, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle.
Decided to be a piece of shit. His default position is being a piece of shit. If he was to ever put any effort into anything, the effort would have to be to not be a piece of shit. And he does not have it in him to not be a piece of shit. Like I said, that's his default position. he can't not be a piece of shit. There is no realm in the multiverse where Donald Trump is not. Donald Jackass Trump is not a piece of shit. That is his very essence.
Reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump Derangement Syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. With then, even some of Donald Trump's most ardent supporters going, what the fuck? How is this real? This is disgraceful. Granted, you had some still trying to play defense for the president. And well, of course, we're still waiting for more information to come in, more confirmation to come in, play defense for the president.
Yes, psychosis is a real thing. And these MAGA chuds do nothing but project them with their 12 IQ. Because, look at this. They go around attacking kids. They're obsessed with kids and attacking kids while saying everyone else is a danger to kids. They're the ones attacking kids, grooming kids, starting these programs trying to groom kids in the schools, making it legal to groom kids, attacking the kids, trash talking kids, attacking them at all times, dehumanizing and demonizing kids just for existing, insulting them, calling them slurs all the fucking time. And plus, every time you see someone caught with stuff they shouldn't have pertaining to kids, or get caught doing stuff they shouldn't be doing with kids, it always ends up being someone from the right. Like, every time. It's just nothing but projection from these fucking weirdos. Absolute fucking weirdos. Something is seriously wrong with these motherfuckers. And like I said, it's all projection. It's like, yeah, the shit that you're saying, it's like mental health crisis, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then the final point. You want to talk about psychosis and mental illness? What about a bunch of grown-ass adults collectively deciding, well, a bunch of people who are supposed to be grown-ass adults running around collectively telling other actual grown-ass adults that we have cooties? Because that's what this TDS thing is. They're running around telling people that they don't like that we have cooties. And they expect to be taken seriously. We're supposed to take them seriously, like that thing with Elon Musk did, the woke mind virus. Everybody's got the woke mind virus. Like, it's fucking shit that fucking little kids. Oh, you've got TDS. This is shit that little kids say and do. Oh, you have cooties. And that's what they're doing. They're running around telling grown-ass adults that we have cooties, and then they expect us to take them seriously.
President. And well, of course, we're still waiting for more information to come in, more confirmation to come in. With the likes of Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene writing, many families deal with a family member with drug addiction and mental health issues. It's incredibly difficult and should be met with empathy, especially when it ends in murder. It's saying this is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies. And it appears that one of the reasons, especially among even further right-wing circles, that Rob Reiner was given at least some grace, not universal. Where, people noting Rob Reiner was both classy and sincere when Charlie Kirk was murdered, saying, let's return the sentiment now that he and his wife have been murdered. But, for now, regardless of the self-centered, sundowning ramblings of the president, we're going to have to wait to get more information about the death of Rob and Michelle Reiner, as well as what's happening around Nick, including why he'd do this, as well as what's in store for him now. But then, next up today, let's talk about Barry Weiss, Candace Owens, and Erica Kirk. Because Erica, the late Charlie Kirk's widow, she announced last night, Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th. Candace Owens and I have agreed that public discussions, live streams, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. With Owens then replying to that, I am very much looking forward to this discussion. So if you've been keeping up, it would appear that the live stream that was scheduled for today, where Turning Point USA was going to debunk Owens' conspiracy theories, that's either been canceled or postponed. And with this, there's just been a wide range of reactions. With some saying it looks like it's going to be good, where they're going to be putting this conflict to bed away from the cameras rather than creating a spectacle. Then you also have others saying they doubt that anything productive is actually going to come from this, especially if it's not recorded. People arguing that Owens and Kirk, they could just go out there and make up whatever they want about whatever was said. Others also speculating that threats could be made, deals could be made, just, whatever you can think of. Because, there's not a little disagreement here. You have Candace Owens saying that she believes that Charlie's assassination was plotted by some conspiracy between Israel, France, maybe Egypt, the United States government, and people inside TPUSA. So really, there's many skeptical that a conversation's gonna make everything hunky-dory. And this is also sort of where Barry Weiss enters the picture, because she asked Erica Kirk what she had to say to Owens and others out there spreading conspiracy theories, and she said,
Stop.
Barry Weiss, milquetoast bitch. Barry Weiss.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Trashy twist.
Stop.
And so one, that might give us a little insight as to kind of the tone or the stand she's going to take during this private discussion. But also, two, we should take a moment to talk about the person who's interviewing Erica there, Barry Weiss. Because ever since Paramount head and Trump ally David Ellison anointed her editor-in-chief of CBS News back in October, she has attracted a lot of criticism for her editorial changes at the network. And that, it really came to head Saturday night when she personally moderated a CBS town hall with Erica Kirk. But it was a move that struck many observers as odd right off the bat, because one, CBS News doesn't typically host town halls like this, and two, senior editorial executives likewise typically stay off camera. And you could even see where this was going just by looking at the event's sponsors, who included the right-wing Heritage Foundation, a Christian prayer app, a faith-based film studio, and the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. So then there was also a relatively small handful of mainstream advertisers like Spotify and TikTok. Also, if you applied to attend the town hall, you were asked a series of questions, including, do you consider yourself a conservative? Are you grieving the loss of a loved one? And are you an evangelical Christian? Plus, for many, it just kind of felt weird that after Erica Kirk's been giving interviews to numerous outlets and podcasters, spoken at TPUSA events, and even closed out the New York Times Dealbook Summit, you had Weiss bring her on to CBS as if she was finally being given the chance to speak. Now, as far as the town hall itself, there are a few moments that have been grabbing the most attention, starting with a question from Hunter Kozak, the guy who was debating Charlie Kirk right before he was shot. And you had Kozak saying, hey, I admire how you condemn violent rhetoric, but what about Donald Trump? Aren't our nation's leaders most responsible for diffusing violence?
President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them.
I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home.
She won't condemn.
This starts with family. We have to look in the mirror. When you become a father, when you become a mother.
Should Trump look in the mirror?
How are you raising your kids?
Bitch, exactly.
Are you taking responsibility?
No,
or
you're not,
are you giving them
bitch.
a device and
No,
saying,
you're not,
go down
bitch.
that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. Do you want your kid
That's
to
exactly
be a
what
thought
you're
leader?
doing. Here, go
or an
watch Daily
assassin?
Wire.
So you saw that provoking a lot of ridicule online, people saying things like, Erica Kirk shaming moms for taking an hour for Pilates while she's on TV every single day is peak fucking hypocrisy.
When's the last
Also,
time
at
she saw
another
her
point in this
kids?
town hall, someone said to Erica, we all know about anti-Semitism on the left, but can you condemn anti-Semitism on the right? And at first,
There
Erica
is
did that
none.
in general terms without naming any names.
Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. How could you hate the Jewish people.
But then she also seemed to suggest that to stop anti-Semitism, people need to become Christian.
We are broken, sinful humans in need of a...
Yeah, the best way to stop hating Jews is to get rid of them. That's what she's saying. That's what this dumb bitch is saying. She's a fucking idiot. And why does she look like a goddamn clone of the fucking well, who's that bitch that speaks for fucking Trump now? God, what's her name? Barbie 417. Trumpford wife 972 reporting in for duty. What's her name? God, I can't think of her name. It's not as if she's important. It's not as if she should be remembered for anything other than being an idiot.
Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord.
You're telling this Jew, yeah, we'll stop hating you if you'll just accept our religion. Oh my God.
Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord.
What the fuck is wrong with you? She's trying to fucking, whatchamacallit, missionary shit, trying to witness.
Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate, and you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot.
Right, and that's a theme that many took note of, because throughout this entire town hall, nearly all of Erica's answers and some of Weiss's questions really harped on Christianity. Right, with Weiss and other attendees asking Erica how she follows Charlie's practice of keeping the Sabbath, soliciting advice for Christian women seeking conservative husbands in big cities, and asking how she trusts God despite unfair and immense suffering. Right, and then also, even after the event, Weiss seemed like, she was just overwhelmed by the aura of spiritual power surrounding Erica Kirk.
Well, she is a deeply religious Christian. I'm not Christian, but bearing witness to something that in her is clearly very deeply held and sincere was quite powerful, and powerful for everyone in the audience.
And so, at the very least, this was described as a unique piece of programming for CBS News, one of America's most venerated legacy media networks. And with it, you had many people giving reactions like, how humiliating for CBS to go from Walter Cronkite tearfully breaking the news of JFK's assassination and death to Barry Weiss doing a town hall with a widow of a racist podcaster who is milking her husband's death for every penny. As well as, there has never been a brand so thoroughly destroyed in such a short period. This is what they're going to do to CNN next, to the extent they haven't already. Though it also appears like it wasn't just CBS viewers who were turned off by the event, but maybe advertisers as well. Because you had Variety reporting that most of the commercial breaks were filled with cheaper direct response advertisers. For things like homeserve.com, Carfax, and even Chia Pet. And, for context, the way direct response advertising works is that networks typically just put them on the air whenever it's convenient, right? Not the first choice. And so when you see a bunch of those kinds of ads in one program like this, it suggests that the network is putting line up more mainstream support for its content. While the Saturday 8 p.m. slot given to the town hall is one of the least watched hours in broadcast TV, that also doesn't explain why big advertisers like Amazon, Ferraro Group, and Procter & Gamble return to the 9 p.m. rebroadcast to 48 hours. And so, that's something to take a look at, because that could be a signal that CBS News' new editorial direction isn't necessarily the right one from a business perspective. But I'll say, regardless, there you have Weiss seeming very intent on keeping this going.
This is going to be the first of many conversations and debates on CBS News about the things that matter most, which are often the hardest to talk about. You will not agree with everything you hear tonight or in any of these other broadcasts. And that is exactly the point.
So there's also, as you reportedly have network staffers telling The Independent, David Ellison must be mortified by his $150 million investment in someone who's so quickly revealed themselves to be the most shallow, least interesting person in TV news, as well as how embarrassing Barry's been editor-in-chief for 5 seconds and has revealed that all she really wants is to be on TV herself. And then we're going to dive into even more in just a minute. But first, let me say, debt is big. I know you didn't ask for me, but I live here now energy. And that's exactly why today's sponsor, PDS Debt, exists, to finally evict that unwanted roommate from your financial life. If you're juggling credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills that hit harder than the hospital visit, PDS debt looks at your actual finances, not the imaginary budget that banks think you live on. No minimum credit score, no judgment, no condescending stop buying lattes lectures. Their team builds a custom plan designed to break the cycle instead of letting interest just chew through your wallet every month. And the results, I mean, A+ rating with a BBB, thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot, and hundreds of thousands of people already helped. Meanwhile, banks celebrate every time your balance grows because your stress pays their bonuses. And ignoring it doesn't make it smaller, it just means more fees, more interest, more how is this legal moments stacking up faster than you can breathe. You know, if I ever needed help, this is where I'd go. Actual humans whose whole job is getting you out of debt, not keeping you stuck in it. So hey, you're 30 seconds away from starting your own fresh start. You can get your free debt assessment at pdsdebt.com/DeFranco. That's pdsdebt.com/DeFranco, or just scan that QR code on the screen. But then, next up in the news today, this is horrifying. Australia just got hit with its deadliest shooting in 30 years. With police saying that a father and son opened fire at Bondi Beach in Sydney on Sunday at the same time that there was an event taking place to mark the first day of Hanukkah. So you had officials saying that this shooting was a terrorist event and it was designed to target Jewish people. And so with that, at least 15 people were killed, including a Holocaust survivor, including children. 42 people were taken to the hospital, and as of recording, 26 people remain hospitalized. Though also with that, I've got to say, the numbers could have been even higher if this played out slightly differently. Right? Because one, police located 3 improvised explosive devices at the crime scene after the attack, which thankfully were never detonated. And 2, in a moment that was captured on video, there was a man who's widely been hailed as a hero tackling and disarming one of the shooters while the attack was underway. Right? And that man has since been identified as 43-year-old father to Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He's an Australian citizen who immigrated from Syria back in 2006, and he's now one of those in the hospital. Right? And he was visited by the Premier of New South Wales, who also wrote on X, Ahmed is a real-life hero. His incredible bravery, no doubt, saved countless lives when he disarmed a terrorist at enormous personal risk. And along with thanks and praise, you had a GoFundMe page actually being set up to support Ahmed, and it's already raised the equivalent of about $1 million, including roughly $65,000 from billionaire Bill Ackman. But then, jumping to the other side of this, right? The suspects, they've been named by some media outlets, but also police have only identified them as a 50-year-old father and a 24-year-old son. Right? And this father, he reportedly first arrived in Australia back in 1998 on a student visa. He was in the country illegally. He was also a licensed firearms holder with 6 guns, and he was fatally shot by police at the scene. And then as far as the son, he's an Australian-born citizen, and he suffered what were described as critical injuries, and he's been hospitalized. And even the police commissioner of New South Wales saying, based on his medical condition, it is likely that that person may face criminal charges. And then according to Australia's Prime Minister, the son first came to the attention of the country's National Security and Intelligence Service back in October of 2019, or when apparently he was examined on the basis of being associated with others. However, you then also had the Prime Minister claiming that there had been no indication of any ongoing threat or threat of him engaging in violence, and then adding that there were no signs as of now that he and his father were acting as part of a wider terror group, saying there's no evidence of collusion, no evidence that these people were part of a cell. Now that said, at the same time, we are also seeing reports today that the men have pledged allegiance to the Islamic State, and flags of the group were reportedly found in their car. Though then also, notably, you have many trying to connect this attack to rising anti-Semitism associated with backlash to what Israel did in Gaza. Where with, for example, opinion pieces in the Atlantic and New York Times popping up, rushing to bring up the idea of intifada, a concept most often associated with Palestinian uprisings against Israeli occupation. Right, in the phrase globalized intifada has been seen by many Jewish organizations as a call for violence and anti-Semitic terrorism, though many have disputed that. You also had Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu suggesting that Australia's recognition of the state of Palestine is what caused the attack by pouring fuel on the anti-Semitic fire and claiming your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You took no action, you let the disease.
What? What the fuck? Oh my god. There's too much nuance here. At the core of it, Netanyahu hides behind victimhood and actual anti-Semitism. But, I mean, is there anti-Semitism? Yeah, there is. But bullshit like this is exacerbating it and fanning the flames. Every little thing now. Fucking wacky. But anyway, yeah. Because, like, he keeps doing this shit. Along with what the MAGA chuds are doing, which is funny because they're full of the most anti-Semitic people in the world, which makes me think that this whole idea of Benjamin Netanyahu identifying as a Jewish person is just, he's deeply unserious about it. And it's just another thing that he uses in his quest for power and money and whatever else. But the more you do this whole everything constantly anti-Semitism, it makes the wackos think that their suspicions are true and real. And it's kind of funny because he thinks he's doing big things, attacking people like me, falsely accusing people like me of shit. He doesn't realize, or maybe he does realize, and that's the whole point, that the more he does that, the more these right-wing wackos do shit like what they do. And it's the call's coming from inside his own house. It's just fucking, it's insane.
Disease spread, and the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. So there you had the Australian Prime Minister rejecting that notion, noting that most of the world recognizes a two-state solution as being the way forward in the Middle East. But also with that, putting aside the question of blame, it has been widely accepted that Australia has especially seen a high rise in anti-Semitism. Or with, for example, a prominent Jewish advocacy group in the country recently reporting that more than 3,700 anti-Jewish incidents had taken place in the country during the 2 years after the October 7th attack in 2023, a rate that the group says is 5 times what it was in the decade before the attack. So there you had some contesting the number because what counts as an incident includes extreme acts of violence like Sunday shooting, as well as an arson attack in an Australian synagogue last year, but also things like anti-Israel graffiti. And so with that, when Australia created a special envoy to combat anti-Semitism in 2024, you had some arguing that pro-Israel groups had successfully weaponized anti-Semitism by conflating that with criticism of Israel's war in Gaza.
There you go. That's what I've been saying.
Then also, in addition to everything there, Sunday's attack has sparked a lot of conversation around another big issue, and that is gun control. Because Australia, they already have strict gun laws, many of which were introduced after a gunman killed 35 people on the Australian island of Tasmania back in 1996. But now you've got the Premier of New South Wales saying that he wants to introduce the toughest gun legislation in the country. And with that, you had the Australian Prime Minister announcing that his government will consider tightening the entire country's gun laws. And specifically with what's being considered are gun owners maybe soon facing limits on the number of weapons they can own, and non-citizens, they might be restricted from owning firearms at all. But that said, very likely on all fronts, we'll be getting more and more updates, more information. And of course, in the meantime, I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions to everything we're seeing right now. But then also, unfortunately, Australia is not the only mass shooting that we have to talk about. Because this weekend, you also had a gunman bursting into a classroom at Brown University in Rhode Island, killing 2 people, injuring 9 more, and all those victims being students. Right, not only that, at least as of recording, the shooter, he's still at large. Well, there's pretty little known at this point as far as how this went down. The shooting happened Saturday afternoon in a room where students were attending a final exam review session for an economics class, and other students were actually in the same building taking their final exams or studying. Then, after reports of an active shooter, an alert was sent by the university telling students and faculty members to lock their doors, silence their phones, and stay hidden. And some students actually ended up spending the night locked in classrooms, libraries, and dorms. Then, as far as the security footage, it showed a male suspect walking away from the scene of the shooting wearing all black clothing. Though also, there was no weapon reportedly visible in the video. His face is covered, and officials say that a firearm wasn't found in a sweep of the building. Also, someone who had been considered a person of interest was detained yesterday, but they've now been released. And law enforcement officials, they haven't named any other suspects so far or come up with any potential motives. Right, and the mayor of Providence, where Brown's located, said that officials had no way of knowing if the attacker was still in the city. And so with that, you had several private schools in the area canceling classes today, while public schools stayed open with an increased police presence, and the University of Rhode Island canceled all in-person exams. But unfortunately, for now, that's where we are. But that, my friend, is the end of today's show, and actually the first episode of our final full week of 2025, which feels insane to say because it feels like it's gone so quick, but also like it's been 12 years.
This is a follow-up to our previous video. In the aftermath of Donald Trump's shockingly despicable public reaction to the brutal murder of legendary actor, director, and liberal political activist Rob Reiner and Reiner's wife, here's Morgan, who professes to be a nonpartisan journalist but notoriously grades Trump on a moral curve, was thus confronted with more incontrovertible evidence of Donald Trump's objective moral inferiority, and thus was forced to call out and condemn Trump for his reactions. Although I suspect he won't give it the attention he would help make American politics better if he talks about it on his own show. But what is making this go viral even more is, as people pointed out, Rob Reiner in the past few months was on Piers Morgan's show, Piers Morgan Uncensored, and the topic did turn to the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And so with Trump's reaction to Reiner's murder in mind, I want you to hear how Reiner reacted to the death of a political opponent. Because again, he and Charlie Kirk were on opposite sides of the aisle. Reiner's been was a liberal political activist for decades, and Charlie Kirk, of course, was one of, if not the most successful conservative activist in modern times. And so listen to how Reiner reacts to Piers about the murder of Charlie Kirk.
When you first heard about the murder of Charlie Kirk, what was your immediate gut reaction to it?
Well, horror. Absolute horror.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, that the memorial they had, was exactly right. And totally, I believe, I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in doing to others, and I believe in forgiveness. And what she said to me was beautiful, and absolutely, she forgave his assassin, and I think that is admirable.
What a human, decent, compassionate response. Now, I want you to imagine Rob Reiner, who, yes, was wealthy and powerful and influential, but not the city.
Trump is not human. He's not decent. His followers are not human. They're not decent.
Something similar to what Trump would say. It was very sad, but, Charlie Kirk's not that. I mean, he used to be talented, but he kind of fell off. And, and what's interesting is this was also addressed before. But interesting is this was in the sitting president, as long as the president's Trump. And what's interesting is this was also addressed before Trump said what he said. Andrew Colvett, who is Charlie Kirk's producer and has basically taken over the Charlie Kirk podcast. So after Rob Reiner's murder, but before Trump said what he said, this is what Colvett said. Rob Reiner responded with grace and compassion to Charlie's assassination. This video, and it's referring to the clip I just shared with you, makes it all the more painful to hear of he and his wife's tragic end. May God be close to the brokenhearted in this terrible story. And by the way, I don't like Andrew Colvett, but that is a beautiful response.
Look what fucking Trump did.
And then, of course,
Look what fucking Trump did.
Trump comes in and just finger paints all over it. I wonder if Andrew would have the courage to call out Trump.
Finger paints all over it? He came in and smeared shit all over it. He shat all over it.
For this, right? Jake Tapper, again, of CNN, points this out. Trump's True Social post about Reiner's horrific deaths is quite the contrast from how Reiner reacted to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Again, people are making this juxtaposition now. And we'll get back to Piers in just a second, but if you look for on True Social, excuse me, Twitter, Trump, Reiner, Charlie Kirk, you will see people pointing this out about the contrast between this clip, which has once again gone viral, of Piers Morgan and Rob Reiner, and the juxtaposition with the reaction that Trump had about the murder of Rob Reiner. This has to be driven home. We cannot live. Will Stansel, who is a liberal activist and a liberal commentator,
finally confronting evidence that your BFF. You're finally confronting evidence that your BFF is morally inferior to every Democratic politician alive. Well, I mean, come on, we don't have to glaze the Democrats that hard. But, well, I mean, that is objectively true. Even the worst Democrat is still better than fucking Donald Trump. Hopefully you give this cruelty the same level of attention on your show as you would if it came from a random Gen Z TikToker instead of the most powerful man alive. Oh my god, Morley in here. Morley. Grub wears his heart on his sleeve and pulls no punches. Was it too early? Yes, definitely. He shouldn't have even addressed it if he didn't have anything good to say. It makes me wonder, is that person even real? Is that person even fucking real? Another one of those fucking South China fucking blue checks.
Ran for office as a Democrat. He's a liberal lawyer. He's one of the best debaters, and
one of those fucking.
You're finally confronting evidence that your BFF
centers.
is morally inferior.
Hey, listen, I just thought of what you could get me for Christmas. Stop talking about recession pop. Stop bringing recession pop up.
Hell yeah. Cable I need coming in today. go make some coffee.
Sugar plums dance with the dead. Santa's sleigh just came from hell. Now Krampus has some tales to tell. Jingle bells, the truth prevails. Frost is melting, hear the wow. Merry Christmas and hail Satan. Satan. Burn the tree, we're celebrating. Reindeer riot in the snow. Let the fires grow. Elves are striking, toys are late. Mrs. Claus open hell's main gate. Carolers scream through the winter night. Thunder's wrapped in twinkling light. Candy cane lace razor blades. Naughty listers on parade. Merry Christmas and hail Satan. Burn the tree, we're celebrating. Reindeer riot in the snow. Let the fires grow. No silent nights, no holy land. This year's gift is contraband. So raise your horns with anarchy. Let's all dance on the Christmas tree. Merry Christmas and hail Satan. Turn it up, we're celebrating. Raise your horns, the night is young. Let's make this fucking Christmas come undone.
Oh, the snow is falling, the fire's alight. Families gather for a cozy night. But over at your place the mood is bleak, 'cause you're still worshipping that orange freak. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. You're on the naughty list, it's true. With your lies and your hate and your QAnon crew. Merry Christmas to everyone but you.
You're crying about Starbucks cups again, while billionaires rob us blind with a grin. You shout fake news at facts you don't like, and scream lock 'em all up on TikTok all night.
Merry Christmas to everyone but you. You're stuck in a Fox News echo zoo. Your MAGA merch smells like hypocrisy stew. Merry Christmas to everyone but you.
Oh, you can't spell truth. You walk into the booth with a flag and a hat and no grasp of the facts. Santa tried to help, but he gave up too, 'cause he'd rather give coal to someone who's cool.
Jingle bells, Trumpy smells your logic ran away. Your brain is fried, you grifted, pride makes Christmas suck all day. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. The Grinch has more heart than your whole crew. We'll toast to a future where justice comes through. Merry Christmas to everyone but you. So deck the halls with kindness and cheer, and keep your MAGA nonsense out of here, 'cause peace and love are long overdue.
And Merry Christmas is wasted on you. The mix fix is here, time to break the chains. Your mind will melt, time to light the flames. The mix fix, groove and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. Streams of power, madness entwined. Tune in now, leave the bullshit behind. The mix fix, groove and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. No bigots, no lies, only one mic. Come blaze with me on a moonlight ride. Bong rips abound, chronic takes hold. Welcome to your bliss. Let your mind unfold. The mix fix, groove and doom collide. Get your fix, ride the cosmic tide. The mix fix is here, time to break the chains. Your mind will melt, can't escape these flames. The mix fix. the street, hips swinging side to side. Reds and blues and purple on pride. The preacher man said, hell's the only place you're going. I said, let's go inside so you can drive home your point. And the women all love, and the men afraid to show it. All the people everywhere are down and everybody know it. We wanna bite that apple, we want some honey and some milk. All the guys and gals are always welcome under my kilt. Tell me, baby.
Stop making recession pop a thing. Stop talking about recession pop coming back. Recession pop is not real. It is fake. It is an entirely made up trend. And while I'm usually fine with letting most bad pieces of music discourse just float and breeze by because, hey, you know, it's just like harmless at the end of the day. And if it gets more people into a certain artist or certain trend, whatever, who cares? This particular topic right here is vastly inaccurate at best and journalistic malpractice at worst. Maybe there are some of you in my audience who don't really know what the recession pop discourse thing is, but I will try to lay this very bad theory out as clearly as I possibly can. Basically, go back to a lot of the biggest and most memorable and popular pop bangers of the last major recession era in American economic history, 2007 to 2009, housing crisis and all that. I'm a millennial. I remember it vividly. So these days, you've got people looking back at some of the biggest pop artists and songs of that era. Your Black Eyed Peas, your Katy Perry, artists like Kesha and Lady Gaga were really starting to make moves during this time period too. And instead of actually digging into the popular music trends of this time and looking at what was truly influencing them, you know, the anthropological work, people are just sort of like attributing how bright and aspirational and upbeat this music was to the fact that we were like in a recession at the time. And as if that wasn't enough of a correlation over a causation, they are then taking prevailing music trends now and saying, oh, hey, wow, whoa, we're barreling toward or are maybe in the midst of, I don't know, they won't release the goddamn jobs numbers. Given that we're likely in a recession right now, people are looking at the current pop trends of the moment and thinking, whoa, not only is recession pop back, we're going to get more of it into the near future. Hell yeah. Okay, before I explain why.
The theory, I know what he's getting to, but he's using recession to do it. I don't know if he's actually going to say it, but, well, I've already said it once, so I'll say it again. But, like, the whole theory that bad times create good art.
Let me just say outright, this is bad, this is wrong, this is not true, this is like, what? Let's just start with the fact that for the past 20 plus years, the charts have been inundated with blissfully ignorant, aspirational, upbeat music that is also escapist in one way or another. And this is even true of times where things are going relatively well economically. Like if Pitbull was merely popular in the late 2000s because we were all trying to escape how terrible things were, by that logic, how does after the recession in 2012 Gangnam Style happen? I mean, as things economically improved past 2009, you could actually make the argument that pop music got dumber and more simplistic and more escapist. In 2013 alone, you had Thrift Shop, Blurred Lines, Harlem Shake. These songs are so popular and widely accessible, I don't even need to say who they're by. Also, Daft Punk and Pharrell, Get Lucky. Things must have been even harder in 2014 if we're looking at the charts. Happy by Pharrell, Dark Horse, Katy Perry, All of Me, John Legend, Fancy, Iggy Azalea and Charlie XCX, Counting Stars from One Republic, All About That Bass, Meghan Trainor, Timber, Pitbull, and Kesha. The fact of the matter is, the economy doesn't need to be good or bad for there to be a demand for simple, fun, enjoyable, sugary pop music that...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why am I getting fired? Why are my videos getting taken down and why am I getting strikes? Like I'm about to lose my account. I was assaulted. I'm the victim. I lost my job. I'm the victim.
This TikToker recently went viral for posting a video of a DoorDash customer of hers who was asleep on his couch in his living room, naked from the waist down. And after going viral, she decided to go to the police about the incident, saying the customer sexually assaulted her, even though he was asleep the entire time that she was at his property. Since then, TikTok took down the video and all replacements that she tried to upload. DoorDash fired her as one of their gig workers, and she was arrested for 2 felonies: unlawful surveillance of another person and dissemination of said unlawful surveillance. And now on December 4th, 2025, she made her first court appearance for her arraignment. And despite the fact that she self-snitched all over the place in her various TikTok videos about this whole incident, at this arraignment, she pled not guilty. And from what it looks like, the only real defense that she has is by continuing to double down on this idea that she's a victim of sexual assault. We'll talk about why that is, and we'll talk about why this means that looking down the road, one of 2 things is
Now and then, some developers get very sneaky and clever with getting back at their nemesis. And some of
Try
them
some
can be
Red Sec
devious,
because I suck at
funny,
games like that.
or
So,
just plain
yeah.
evil. So this episode is dedicated to these counterinsurgent coders, these execrable engineers, and these pernicious programmers. As I say, but hello you. I'm Guru Larry, and I welcome you to Fact Hunt. Devious acts of revenge by game developers. Making death threats on the internet is quite possibly one of the most boneheaded things you could do in this day and age. While you might think it makes you look like a badass, it pretty much guarantees you a visit from several large, heavily armed gentlemen. However, the genius for this segment luckily managed to escape the long arm of the law, but was utterly humiliated online instead. So, may I introduce to you Bulkhead Interactive's 2018 World War II FPS Battalion 1944. Despite being a small dev team funding the entire game through Kickstarter, Bulkhead decided to self-finance a tournament to help boost sales and build a community for the game, where winners would be awarded cash prizes and even
Tournaments is an
exclusive
easy way to do
skins
that.
for their weapons. Sounds great!
People
The tournament
love
was
tournaments.
held without any hitches, and the champions
Spirit of
received their
competition.
money. However, when it came to the weapon skins, Bulkhead were a little on the slow side rolling out said promised accolades. This simply wasn't good enough for one of the players, who went by the name of Suspect. He didn't appreciate the fact that skins needed to be designed, then implemented into a game. So, in an entitled huff, promptly jumps onto their official Discord server, proceeds to moan about the delay of his awarded gains, and ultimately telling them if they don't hurry up with their promises, that he would shoot up the studio.
Wait.
Even adding reference to the then recent YouTube HQ incident for that extra scummy impact. Now, if you're going to make a complete tit of yourself online, it's pretty much guaranteed that someone will screen grab your idiocy, as the internet never forgets. So, Suspect's threats are immediately posted for the world to see on Twitter. Bulkhead spots these posts, and rather than report Suspect to the police, decide to troll the guy instead. "We're ever so sorry, Mr. Suspect," said Bulkhead. "Please don't mercilessly slaughter the staff of our tiny development team. We'll get these special new skins to you post haste. Yeah." And indeed, post haste they did. A few days later, Suspect received his weapon skins, all adorned with a big old willy on them.
Yes.
Yup, Bulkhead's revenge on this man was whenever he reloaded any of his weapons in-game, he'd forever see a fully erect meat and 2 veg, lavishly adorned upon them. A dick for a dick. In a DM to Suspect, Bulkhead wrote, "You claimed it was a joke. I fail to see anything funny about threatening to shoot up a studio, so I thought I'd teach you a lesson about comedy. Sadly, Battalion 1944 was delisted from online console services in 2022, with a Legacy Edition released on Steam for free not long after. So, at least in that time, Bulkhead made sure Suspect never went half-cocked ever again, by putting a foreskin on his skin. Yeah, I'll get my coat. Accusations of plagiarism in a creative medium are pretty commonplace in this day and age. But if you're going to publicly call out someone for thieving your work, you might want to do some fact-checking before making yourself look a complete fool. Case in point, Assassin's Creed 2 combat manager, Charles Randall. Now, Mr. Randall claimed that the open-world Lord of the Rings stab-em-up, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, was using the assets he had created for the second greatest game featuring a leaping Italian. How did Randall come up with this rather shocking revelation? He had an inside mole at Mordor's developer, Monolith. Video footage of Warner Brothers breaking into his office at night and stealing his exact specific code? Or is somehow on the elite panel of industry programmers who are entitled to see every piece of programming ever created? No, of course not. He just watched Mordor's teaser trailer. For some unbeknownst reason, Charles concluded that a game developed by a totally unrelated developer, published by a completely unrelated company, and both using bespoke game engines personally created by their respective creators, had Randall's exact same code in it. What are the chances? Well, exactly zero, as multiple people pointed out to his rather libelous accusations, ultimately forcing him to backtrack his statements, posting the ultimate in absurdity with, he never actually accused them of stealing the code, only that they were heavily influenced. Anyhow, this isn't an episode on developers making themselves look like foolish nutjobs online, though got to make a note of that for a future topic. This is about revenge, and this one's certainly a dish best served cold. 3 years later, in Shadow of Mordor's sequel, Shadow of War, there's a cheeky little achievement that's description is oddly specific. Shame an assassin until he becomes deranged. Absolutely brutal. It's amazing we've managed to come this far over the years with Fact Hunt and never once mentioned Stadia, Google's big-brained venture into becoming the Netflix for games when everything else prior failed. No one wanted it, no one subscribed to it, and Google looked all surprised when it bombed. Still, everyone got a pretty decent Bluetooth controller out of it for free, so I'm not complaining. Anyhow, Google did have the foresight to know that a new platform lived and died on its exclusives. And by exclusives, I mean already released on Xbox, PlayStation and PC. As in December 2019, they acquired the small Canadian developer Typhoon Studios and exclusively published their already announced to be released beforehand on other systems game, Journey to the Savage Planet. If this wasn't dumb enough, on the 1st of February 2021, the exact same day the Stadia version of Journey to the Savage Planet was released, Google closed the entire studio. This is stupid. As we all know, launch day games are often rifled with bugs and glitches. So the concept of keeping a company that actually created the game around a little longer to iron out any potential issues might be a smart thing to do. But, oh no, not Google. They published a game so broken it would literally crash on the title screen. You couldn't even play it. Sorry, we didn't mean fired, said Google. We meant, we're really fired up for your new game. Yeah, come back to the office and help us finish it off, will you? There's a good sport. Unsurprisingly, the now unemployed devs of Typhoon Studio were wise and had too much dignity to fall for Google's nonsense, so politely told them where to stick it, while they created a brand new studio. Google even begged Journey's original publisher, 505 Games, to step in and help. And they were all, well, you bought the developer off us and you possess all the code. It's your problem now. So, after much scrounging, they managed to source together a skeleton crew of people they hadn't let go and got them to finally remove all the bugs in the game. 3 months later. Imagine having to rent a game you literally can't play for a quarter of a year. And corpos still wonder why Google Stadia failed. So, if karma itself wasn't enough of revenge for what happened here, Typhoon's new studio, Raccoon Logic, managed to buy back the rights to Savage Planet from the embarrassing charred remains of Google Stadia, and 3 years later released a sequel, Revenge of the Savage Planet, which marketing campaign sneakily used the phrase, "Have you been fired by Harrison today?" A reference to Phil Harrison, the genius who headed up and ultimately screwed up Google Stadia, whom they also coincidentally named the comedically evil and moronic main antagonist of the game after too, CEO Gunther Harrison. Marvellous. London properties, all boarded up. Heck, I'm from London, and even I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me. Also, it wasn't down to licensing issues this time, as with Sony removing the British Telecom bans from the game in a re-release. Oh no, this one's far more petty. It all started out as something rather innocent. The Getaway's developer, Soho Studios, happened to be just around the corner from CEX's Tottenham Court Road branch. For those of you unfamiliar with CEX, they're kind of like GameStop, but only deal in the trading side of the business. Anyhow, being hardcore gamers, Soho Studio staff would often frequent the store looking for import video games, as CEX were more about selling titles from the US and Japan back then. So one day, one of the higher-ups of Soho Studios wanders into the... However, one of his tells the manager to give him a ring when they find the discs, obviously expecting him to never call over this blatant lie to sell the game anymore. Obviously, no.